Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the magic power you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form and submit your dream to this show. That's it. That's all you have to do. And before I forget, I'm going to have Heidi Brooke on the show either next week or the week after. Heidi used to be a co-host on the show. She's a channel. She's amazing. She's also my daughter. If you want to send a question in to Heidi, then just use the dream form on my website, dream-analysis.com. and send your question to Heidi that way. Just say question for Heidi in the comments. And she's going to answer those on the show. And so that'll be great, interesting. So please do that because we need questions in order to have her on the show. So let's have a look at some of your dreams. I got some great dreams in this week. I'm really looking forward to sharing the analysis. The first one is from Melinda. She said, very simple dream. I love these really short dreams. She calls it removing star. Now, even the title tells us this is a spiritual dream. Stars are about goals. We wish upon a star. They're also spherical. They're high up in the heavens, so you have to look up to see them. Everything about them is about goals, and even spiritual goals. It doesn't have to be spiritual, but in this dream it is. And she says, a man can't breathe. I see that he has something blocking at the back in his neck. I pull it out of him and he can breathe again. The thing I pulled out is a star-shaped earring, but bigger. It is both gold and silver. Okay, so why do I like the dream? Because first of all, she has the problem where the man can't breathe. Now, you're everything in a dream, so it's about you not breathing. And breathing is about like acceptance of life and yeah, let's stick with acceptance of life. So it's like, if you deal with this issue, you will really feel alive. That's what it's saying. It's like you're going to be taking your first breath, or you're going to be able to breathe properly for the first time and really fill your lungs. It's a man has the problem, and normally I would say, oh, that means you've issues with your dad that you need to overcome. But I think in your case, this man just symbolizes either the idea of doing this or confidence in doing this. Men can represent up to 7 different things in dreams, and women the same. Different things, of course, but male and female sides, and a male aspect, confidence and belief in yourself is a male energy thing. And you say it's an earring, so earrings are to do with the ability to hear your guides. So I think you can hear your guides. You already know you can hear your guides, but you don't necessarily express your spiritual viewpoint as much as you should. And that's what the blockage in the neck is about, because the throat chakra is there, and the throat chakra is all about expression. And so what's blocked there being this piece of jewelry, a precious thing, is what you have to express. So silver is about intuition. So you get knowings about things. You have a strong connection with your higher self. So a good sense of things just out of the blue, it seems like. And then gold is about healing. So when we see it mixed with things, it's saying that will help you heal. Like, we're all here to help ourselves as well. It's not just altruistic. We're going to do things with our abilities that are going to help other people, but we're also going to help ourselves in the process. So you're going to help heal yourself by expressing your intuition, your knowing, your inner knowing about things, and expressing what you hear from your guides. Quite a nice dream. And I would say, Melinda, this is just going to happen. You know, it's a given. I don't think I'm skipping anything. Let's move on. Here's one from Dion. And she says, I dream so many times that I am in the middle of the ocean and I can breathe underwater. Well, that's a good dream. The ocean represents the spirit world, and being able to breathe underwater is about having the ability to go into the spirit world without any issue. I mean, we can all go there. You know, when we die, we're going to go there. It's the going there and coming back is the trick, and I often say that on the show. So you have this special ability to go into the spirit world and go deep into the spirit world. So it's like it's your natural home for you. I swim with different, you say, continue. I swim with different big fish I've never seen before. Sometimes I'm on a boat or some kind. I'm always trying to figure out why I'm in the middle of the ocean. Okay, I know. So this is an amalgamation of a lot of dreams. I can swim so far under it, it will take me somewhere else. And so this part of the dream, again, it's like you've got this ability to go really deep spiritually. And the irony of that is it's also about being able to raise your vibration and actually really go high rather than go deep. It's just a matter of terminology, but we do it by raising the vibration, or you do it by raising your vibration. And it's kind of like a good place for you. You say, once I went down a hole and it took me to a mirror where I could see one side of the world from the other. It was dark with no sound. But if you look through the window, its sound is perfect. Now, I have that in for the next piece. You say, I still go down the hole sometimes to understand more. Now, normally I would say, because you say it's a dark and a bad place. And normally I would say, don't go near there. But your guides are quite happy and comfortable with you going there and learning. You say, I've also seen the path to hell. I would say, I don't go beyond it just yet. And your guides say, you never will. You're never going to get to the point where you're going to be comfortable going in there. But it's interesting that you're being shown this, because most people, me included, my guides would say, hey, don't have anything to do with this. And so the people that normally can go here are, well, obviously people who are just downright evil. And I don't mean like, hey, your Uncle Bob is mean. I mean people who choose that path. Horrible and all as it is, it's always a choice. But your vibration is quite high, and you can go there without being lured or affected. So that's quite interesting. It's just more revealing about your level rather than anything else. And obviously, whatever you're going to be doing in your future going forward, you need to be aware of this, or at least you're being shown this. There's no other reason it would be coming up. And it is interesting, you know, a lot of people talk about hell on earth and evil beings and stuff like that, and you see them in movies. And like, which dimension do they come from? Well, really, they come from the earth plane. That's where they are. It doesn't come from somewhere else. Earth is a healing place, and it's here for us to let go of all the darkness. And so, it allows, it can take that darkness, and it's okay with it, and it can help transform and give spirits, regardless of what level they're at, a chance to redeem themselves and so on. So the earth can do it. They are here. Most of us are blissfully unaware. It's a bit kind of like the Men in Black movie, except it's not aliens really. But we're blissfully unaware and glad to be blissfully unaware. So let's have a look at why am I saying that? Because one of the sources of power that they connect to is I think what you're going to be shown, and I don't want to say what it is on the air, but when you see the source of the power, then you know how to fight that type of being. And that could be your Uncle Bob. I was joking about like Uncle Bob is mean, but there are a lot of these spirits incarnated on the earth plane, and if you come up against one, you'll be unlucky. But if you're the likes of you, you'll have no problem. Anyway, the next next few dreams are from Brittany. And when I read this first dream, I asked her 3 questions. I said, 1, what digestive or elimination system issues are you aware of, and how long have you had them? And 2, what issues have you got with your mom? And 3, is anyone in your family narcissistic? And I will share some of her answers edited during the analysis. So here we go. She's in her 30s. I think that's applicable at some point. She says, I was painting a picture of a blue jay in the parking lot of a high-end grocery store when I got red on my palette by accident, so I went to go wash it. Okay, so painting a picture is really good. Paintings are about ideals and goals. Birds are also about ideals and goals because you have to look up to see them, a bit like the stars I was talking about earlier. And so, very good. A blue jay. Does a blue jay mean anything in particular to you? If it does, then great. but otherwise, it's about you pursuing goals and the need to pursue them because you're in a parking lot of a high-end grocery store, and grocery stores are about achieving your needs. Now, if this grocery store is really just about food, then that'll make sense later on when we look at more of the dream. You got red on the palette and you went to go wash it. So red can be a color, or is a color, for fun and passion and joy. And so it's like, well, that wasn't in my, I'm not allowed to have that, so I'm going to wash that off. And so then a blue jay looks like it's a kind of a black colored bird with a blue tint to it. So I would say that's about depression, or feeling negative, feeling down. And so when you get the red on it, you have to go wash it off. So it's like, okay, there's got to be a reason that you have that attitude. Then you say another little bit, but you stop because you can't remember it. And then we move on here. You say there was a big garbage heap and homeless dogs digging and eating happily. So my first question was about elimination system, and that's because there's more than just this in the dream, but this is enough. That tells us definitely you've got problems with elimination. And your response was, yes, I had severe colic for the first 2 years of my life. I was allergic to the dairy in my mom's milk. Now, infants aren't allergic to breast milk. As far as I know, that's completely not possible. But infants can be allergic to some of the foods that mom eats or drinks that can get into the breast milk. So that's probably what you meant by the dairy in mom's breast milk. So I'm sure you are aware of that. So you are allergic to dairy, but it's not actually human milk you're allergic to. And of course, if we knew this, if your mom knew this, she would have cut out the foods that you were allergic to. It's kind of interesting. People can become allergic to foods that their child is allergic to. Isn't that interesting? So the child is developing in the womb, and if they can't take shellfish, you can't have shellfish while you're pregnant. And if you do, then the child's body will react to it and you'll become allergic to it too. But in general, you become allergic to those foods while you're pregnant, and sometimes you stay allergic. But anyway, it's interesting how it all is. And you say, during that time, we slept sitting up, if at all. I was constipated my whole life until I stopped eating candy and all animal products and gluten. So that's good. You're doing something about it. I have so many food intolerance that give me various problems that the only foods I can really digest are fruits, vegetables, and seeds. I still manage to get constipated sometimes, even using lots of curry spices, and even after a time of doing very long juice fasts. Okay, so anyway, why do I point that out? Because just to show the accuracy of the analysis, the dogs digging in the garbage and eating happily. The fact that the dogs are eating happily means that you do not eat happily. And you never did. And so right from the start, being allergic to whatever was in mom's milk from whatever she was eating or drinking caused you problems. And the dream is trying to heal that by having the dogs be happy. But again, like I said, it means you weren't. My mom drove my brother and I, our family dog, who is long deceased in reality, she says, in a bright red sports convertible to the vet, way on the west side of town. So the red sports convertible, even if you just said sports convertible, I would tell you you're a spiritual healer, because a powerful car or motorbike in a dream, that's what that means. You have the ability to channel healing energy through your body and into others. And that will actually help you. Channeling the healing energy for clients will help you because it's healing energy after all. It's bright red. Red is a color of energy, so that fits there. And it's also interesting because you had the red earlier. And it's on the west side of town. So that means you got to work on issues around the heart too, even though we know that because your mom's there. Mom's in the dream, so you have issues with mom. And I asked you about that. Have you issues with mom? Anyway, you say, I packed my backpack for the trip, but by the time we got there, I was furious because I was missing school and had no way of getting to school since it was so far and I couldn't drive. I put on a huge narcissistic display so everyone working here would know how inconvenienced I was. And so that's why I said the age. It's not a school child here. This woman actually has 2 kids of her own. She's in her 30s, but school shows up in a lot of her dreams. And so that's always interesting. That's about learning about yourself in order to improve something. But anyway, so you talk about mom driving you somewhere, and then you had a backpack for the trip. Um, and you're furious. So this is something you have to let go of. You have to let go of anger. And even in my book, How to Interpret Your Dreams and Discover Your Life Purpose, I say in the chapter about the digestive and elimination system that quite often we see anger is the emotion connected with digestive system problems. And so you have to heal the source of that. And the source of that here for you is mom, because mom's the one driving you in this dream. And the fact that it's a red sports convertible, I doubt that your mom drives that, means that the dream is actually trying to use your healing gift to heal that very thing. You said you were missing school and had no way of getting there since you couldn't drive. So that's like an inability to pursue your own goals. And remember, the start of the dream where you're painting the blue jay is about you focusing on your own goals. So that stays with us. Anyway, the narcissistic display you say you put on. So I asked questions 2 and 3. One was about mom and the other was about who's narcissistic in your family. And you say, I have all the issues with mom. I feel really bad about it. She's a covert narcissist. She's a martyr who always helps everyone but resents it. That's an interesting thing. I never thought about that as a covert narcissist, but I know people like that. Mom also had no sense of boundaries. For example, she would read my diaries, mark them up with judgments and spelling corrections, but then adamantly deny that she'd read them, even with her writing in there. You say, that still makes me upset, but I never confront her or express my true feelings. There's no point. She was intolerant of my emotions as a child, would yell at me or mock and humiliate me. Okay, so that's horrible. I'm very sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear about the colic and the fact that the digestive system problems have persisted in your life. But I can guarantee you, follow your dreams and they will improve. That's the whole point of it. So the dream is saying, look, this is where it comes from. It comes from working around the issues with mom. Deal with those. You say, so the big thing in what you say is, it makes me upset, but I never confront her or express my true feelings. There's no point. So it's all about you expressing your feelings. That's where you need to get to the point of expressing your feelings. And that's really going to open you up and help you. And you're definitely going to get there, because the next part of your dream continues. You say, part of the pet hospital was a library and a group of children were led past me by a teacher or librarian to the darkened library for a movie or something. So libraries are about counseling. So you have a counseling ability. And a counseling ability comes from living life and looking at life from the outside, never feeling like you fit in, always feeling alone, even in a crowd. And so you've had that since childhood. And it's allowed you see the world in a different way, see people in a different way, in a way that most people don't see them at all. You're also a spiritual teacher, because we have a teacher in the dream, and there's a group of children. So either one of those would do that. Now you say it's a teacher or a librarian, but it doesn't matter, because you have other dreams that show spiritual leadership is your thing. So you're meant to work with groups of people, whether it's a group of children or not. I don't know. I didn't channel on that. I forgot. It's a darkened library. So this is about a bit like it's darkened for a movie, but it's still, because it's dark, it's like I don't really see where I'm going or where I need to go. But the movie is there to do the opposite. The movie is about giving you the big picture and saying, look, here's what your life is about, because movies are the big picture. Then you say, when my dog's appointment was done, we had to go wait outside for her to come out of any number of holes in 2 large mounds of dirt out back of the building, to the right and to the left. We kept getting psyched every time a dog came out of a hole, but it was never our dog. So this is elimination system again, problems with elimination system. Finally, my mom made us get in the car and we drove away. She explained that our dog would come running after us if we did this. I freaked out and insisted she stop and turn around, because our dog would only be traumatized if she saw us drive away. So this is about you dealing with trauma in childhood, connected with mom. And, it can be childhood and up, but we always look for the very earliest thing, because that's the foundation on which everything else is built. There's usually little point looking at an issue that you have when you're 18. If you have other issues that are connected to that same feeling and trauma that predate it, you have to find the earliest one and work on that. And that even means if the earliest one comes from a former life. You have to work on that because otherwise you're not dealing with the source. You're just dealing with an instance, and that never fixes a problem. It can make it a little bit better, but it'll never just take it away. So anyway, you confront your mom in the dream. That's actually good because it's a dream. You're not actually confronting her in real life. And in any therapy, you don't ever have to confront the person who's traumatized you. You never do. Some people want to, but if you do, that just means you've more work to do. So anyway, I didn't ask you, was there ever a situation where you felt mom left you or just wasn't there for you, but or turned her back on you? But that's kind of like what this trauma is about. So let's move on and look at your next one, which I promised to do with you because that first one is obviously like terrible. And here we go again. She says, I had this dream the same night as Egyptian one. That's okay. The dream. My daughter, son, and I were at the foot of a grassy hill. I had a very long handled spade higher than my head. Now, isn't that interesting? So bear that in mind. I'm going to point it out later on. The kids were doing their own thing. I was burying something, maybe a body. So this is the elimination system again. We know it's going to show up probably in all your dreams. Sometimes we can ignore it because it won't be the focus, but it'll still be there. A little ways over the hill were some construction guys, and they were digging, and one noticed me trying to hide the fact that I was digging. So this is good. Construction workers in a dream is good. This is about people trying to fix, or you getting the help you need to fix a problem. And here's what's interesting. You say, this guy noticed you were digging, that you're trying to hide that you were digging. And I think he had glasses on. And you say that a number of times in dreams. You point out that somebody was in a suit with glasses. And some people don't do that. So when you point that out, it means that you have an ability that the glasses symbolize. And your ability is to be able to get images from the spirit world. If you ask your guides questions, you get images for answers. He stood up and he came towards me and took me somewhere like a small office, possibly to get a permit, and that's good. So he's not kicking you away. He's telling you, look, you don't need to hide this anymore. So what do you not need to hide? You don't need to hide the fact that you are able to communicate with your spirits and get these image answers. It might be images and it might be movies. It could even be both. He had shoulder-length blonde hair and was so tall. So that's two of the calling signs of a guide, somebody with blonde hair and his height. The height representing his high vibration. So tall that when I spontaneously hugged him, my face pressed against his lower abs. The familiarity and love I felt for this guy. He picked me up and flew me over the field and dropped me off from where my kids were. I shrieked with happiness. So this is really good. Him flying with a guide is classic to indicate that you have the ability to channel. It means that you can raise your vibration because you can't actually fly, but you can raise your vibration to the level that matches your guides and you can get information from them. So that's really good. Then there were holographic looking people and vessels coming from the bright blue sky, and we realized they were from a nearby dimension merging with ours. I remember the first one looked like a raft of tall bronze ancient Egyptians standing straight and strong as they rode in sync with long sticks. Remember I said, watch this spade, very tall spade that was above her head. And so here we have the Egyptians using something similar, but they're rowing in sync. So this is cool. So this is a connection with a past life. So the dream is saying, what the dream is trying to do is connect you with former life stuff. A lot of people love Egyptian things. A lot of people dream about Egyptians. It's one of the longest lasting dynasties, if that's the right word to use. There have been many civilizations, great civilizations in the past, but they don't last very long, just a few hundred years usually. But the Egyptians one lasted thousands. And so a lot of people have had past lives in Egyptian times and really love it, more so than any other type of connection. So anyway, you have a connection with that. There was a couple of others I don't remember, but they were all ships of sorts. A small ship like a rowboat glided through the air fairly low to the ground right past me and the kids. So we leapt up and caught it and climbed on it to pull it down. Then we carried it into a temple of sorts. So this is about connecting with a past life in order to connect with spiritual abilities you have. And one of those abilities is the ability to communicate with spirits in other dimensions, like your guides. The whole interior was white and sort of looked like a house, but not exactly. We took the boat to a white room like a bedroom and laid it down, I think on a bed. Inside the boat I saw little markings and arrows and instructions, so I reached my arms in and started ripping away the right pieces until I got to the treasure, a solid gold coin. Now remember, I said you're a healer from other symbols and other dreams, like the sports car, the convertible sports car. And so we're here, we have a solid gold coin. So that says you're a healer too. So we know you have it. But why is it shown here? So the boat, the small boat comes in and comes down to the bed. You bring it down. So that's about your birth, anything, arrival on the planet. So arriving on the planet with a connection to this former life, and bringing that connection with you. And what you have to do here is rip away at pieces from this. So we're right at birth here. You have to work on eliminating things that affected you, the trauma, like we saw in the other dream, that affected you at the start of your life, until you get to the treasure, and the treasure is going to heal you. So the treasure is, what gifts have you got? What did you bring with you? Work on healing your childhood, because that's going to unlock these for you, and it's going to heal you of your physical problems, or at least hugely help. You say it was a gold penny from the future. I guess because its year was 5 digits, it even had my name on it. So it's saying, look, you're going to get healing in the future. And you say only the E was gone. So it said Brittany without the E. And that's good. So you're nearly there. Out of the room and back down a white accessible ramp. The kids were holding me up on each side now because I was suddenly totally exhausted, head rolling and eyes couldn't stay open. That happens to me a lot in dreams when I get tired while I'm sleeping. I woke up exhausted and feeling like I needed 8 hours more sleep. So this shows this. When I channeled on this, the fact that you're even in the dream state, you're exhausted. I thought, okay, this now inability to walk and so on will be about childhood, but they say no, it's about you not being fully in your body. So you need to do something, heal your childhood so that you fully come into your body. Now that makes sense because most counselors start off that way. They don't want to be fully in the body because they don't like the earth plane. It's like hasn't been pleasant to them, hasn't been nice. They've never been happy. So why would I do it? Why would I commit? But that's what you're being asked to do. And this has been backed up by you trying to pull the Egyptian boat down onto the bed. So anyway, they are your dreams, and we're out of time. I will continue on next week with more dreams. Please do send them into the show and send in your questions for Heidi Brooks. So the questions can be about anything, relationships, health, career, whatever you want, spiritual gifts, spiritual abilities. She'll cover all those. Thanks for listening. See you next week.